fish
I am
and
filming.
orange cream and something
Okay.
with
I am filming.
something with
Adam.
protein.
Are you ready for the next progression for some single leg stability? So now you've done progression 1, where we've just balanced, really pushing through the ground, and we've thought about balancing with our other leg in various positions. And then we've done the second progression where we've balanced, and then we've thought about slight quarter squats with that knee, with our other leg in various positions. And then we've done the next progression where we did the kick walkthroughs, and we went straight into the next one without touching that other toe to the ground. Woo! And sometimes we weren't a little stable with all of them. Now we're gonna have the next progression, and this is one where it's gonna be a full body thing, no impact whatsoever. The idea is you're gonna do 5 on each leg. These are called single leg Romanian deadlifts. Now, those of you who are yogis, which I am not, I'm sure have another name for this, and you might cringe at some of the way I'm going to describe how we're going to do it today. I just want to clarify, this is not yoga. This is not a yoga pose. This is different. This is really just working on single leg stability and some ways that we can adapt towards that. So you don't need any equipment whatsoever. Eventually, if you want to help with some balance, or work on the next progression towards it, you can get a broomstick, just take the broom off. I have any kind of dowel. This is a shower curtain rod. It really has minimal weight or no weight whatsoever, really. So we're not doing anything with weight right now. If you have a barbell, great, use that. If you don't need anything. So we're gonna start with nothing. So the idea here is we're gonna start with our feet together. We're gonna start with our left leg for purposes. Put it underneath. Try to center your left foot underneath your center of gravity. And we're gonna be balancing on this foot. And this is what it's gonna look like. I'll talk through it, but first I'm gonna give you a motion of what it's gonna look like. That would be more of a yoga. You don't need to do it with the hands. So if you want to think about it, I like to think about it like my leg is one long plank. My whole body is one plank from my head down to my other foot. And as this head goes forward, this foot's going to go back. And I'm not bending the knee. I'm not bending at the hip or anything. I am just thinking about this knee is nice and loose. It's not bent, but it's not locked. It's loose. As my body is tilting, this knee, I want to make sure that I'm driving through the whole foot and I'm thinking about pushing that knee out a little, just like we had talked about with single leg strength. So it's going to come out for that stability. I'm doing it nice and slow. And I'm stopping. I'm not going too far down. I want to stop at parallel. If you stop above parallel first, that's fine. And then you're going to come back up. And you can go ahead and put that other foot down. You can try one on each side to go. We're always going to have one side that's easier than the other, our strong side. So remember, we're one long plank from our head down to our foot. As my head comes down, or as my foot comes up, my head goes down. As my head goes down, my foot comes up. And we're bending at the hip, but the hip of the leg that's down. That knee is loose. And as I move, that knee is going to be shifting, pointing outward a little bit to make sure that I don't cave in, all right? So this is nice and tight. This is straight. I'm not kicking that up a little bit at all. And I'm coming down nice and controlled. You can hold it for a second or not. I want to make sure that I'm not really twisting either side too. I want to try and stay as square to the ground as I can, and that's where having a dowel will help out. Whoa! Don't do that when you come up. All right, so this is why we want to be nice and controlled. And then coming up, pushing through the ground still as we come up. So it's the downward movement and the upward movement is where that stability comes in. Ideally, you're going to try and do 5 on each leg. Build up towards doing 5 in a row on one leg and 5 in a row on the other leg. When we can get the dowel of any sort, you can use PVC pipe, you can use a broomstick, you can use a shower curtain, anything you have. This is going to help you if you're doing it in front of a mirror or something. You'll see right away if you're tilting at all, because you want it to be as parallel as you can. So I'll do it facing you. You can tell me how straight I am or not. So we want to come down. Notice it's not always perfect, but you want to, it's thinking about the movement. It's okay if you're a little wobbly as long long as you can adjust. And then coming up, pushing through the ground, still pushing that knee out, and thinking about adjusting. Let's see how this side is. And notice my neck is neutral. I'm not looking up. Ooh, I'm gonna get off balance real fast if I do that. My neck remains neutral, so as I'm coming down, my eyesight is following wherever I am. So when I'm down here, my eyes are actually pointing somewhere slightly in front of me, and I'm gonna come right up, okay? So this can help make it a little more challenging. You can hold it in just one hand, the opposite hand of the leg that's moving. And you don't need to do that at all. As you can tell, it is more challenging. So this is a very slow and controlled movement. You can do it anywhere. Extra challenge, try to do it with your eyes shut, see how your balance is. I don't necessarily recommend that though. So you can do this anywhere you want. I call it the single leg RDL. RDL stands for remaining in deadlift, but which on its own, by the way, looks like this. So you think about you're doing that, but you're doing it with one leg. Okay, so it's the same motion, but it's one leg, and you don't need anything in your hands for it. Good luck.